Let me go and open the class notes. Go and open the class notes. So right now we are discussing about what? Right now we are discussing about these 4 introduction classes. So among all those 4 introduction classes, already we done with what? We done with class 1. That is introduction to Power Platform. And in the yesterday's class, that is class 2, we done with what? Introduction to Power Apps. So let me give a quick recap what we discussed in yesterday's class, guys. And then we'll go and start discussing today's class, class 3, Introduction to Power Automate. So let me give a quick recap. So in yesterday's class, that is in the class 2, first we discussed about what? We discussed about what is SharePoint. We know that SharePoint is acts as what software? Data source software, which is used for what? To store and manage the organizational business data in the form of what? List. List is nothing but tables, or you can store some kind of data in the form of what? Documents also. Everything we can store it at one place. So this is what the definition of SharePoint. And then we understand what's meant by data sources. As we know that already, data sources is nothing but what? The place where the companies will store their business data. We'll call it as data sources. And then we understand how to go and open the SharePoint. So in order to go and open the SharePoint, you need to go to any one of the web browser. You need to go to any one of the web browser. Go to either Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Go to any one of the web browser, and then go and use the URL office.com. As we know that, go with the URL office.com. When I go with this URL office.com, it's asking us to sign in. Just go and click on sign in. Let me go and log in. I'm logging with one user. Click on the next button. Let me enter the password. Enter the password. Fine. Now I'm logging to what? Office.com. That is Microsoft 365. So welcome to Microsoft 365. So from here, you can go and open the SharePoint. So just go to the search bar and then go and search for what? SharePoint. In yesterday's class, you understand how to open the SharePoint. Just go and click on it. When I select the SharePoint application, now it will go and open what? It will go and open the SharePoint now. Let it open. Fine. So once after opening the SharePoint, now if you want to go and store the business data within the SharePoint, I said that first we need to go and create what? Site. In yesterday's class, we understand how to go and create a site. Guys. We created one site. What's that site name we created? Batch 129, 9 a.m. So just let me select the site name. This is the site we created. Let me go to the site. Go to the site. Now in this site, we created one list. What's that list we created? We created a list called what? Students. Let me go to the list called students. So this is the list we created in the yesterday's class. So once after creating the list in the SharePoint, and then later we discussed about what? Once after creating the list in the SharePoint, we discussed about what is Power Apps. We know that, guys, what the Power Apps can do. We know that Power Apps is used for what? To create the apps or the forms, which is used for what? Collect the data from the customers. Once after collecting the data from the customers, from Power Apps, we are going to submit the data to what? Data sources. Once after submitting the data to the source, again, we are able to display that data again in the Power Apps. And then we are able to go and work with the data. This is what the Power Apps can do. Let me open the architecture. In the architecture in yesterday's class, I said that what? With the help of Power App software, we are able to create the apps. Once after creating an app from Power App, we'll go and submit the data to what? Data sources. We understand how to submit the data to the data sources in yesterday's class. And then once after submitting the data, whatever the data we'll have in the source, we know that how to go and display the data again in the Power Apps. Once after displaying the data, next we'll go and do what? We are able to go and work with the data. This is what the Power Apps can do. So we understand what the definition of Power Apps. And then We discussed about how to go and open the Power App software. Let me go and open the Power App software now. So let me go and open the Power App. To open the Power App, again go to the Office 365. Let me go and search for what now? Power App software. When I go and search for Power Apps, you are able to open the Power App software here. Just click on it. When I click on it, now it will open the Power Apps now. So within the Power Apps in yesterday's class, we created one app. So what's that app name? AB Trainings, your batch number 129. Just go and click on this app name. And I select this app name. Oh, now it will go and open that app we created in yesterday's class, guys. So we discussed about how to go and create an app with different screens. Let it open. We discussed about how to create this app with the different screens. Now in the screen one, when I go and click on the get started, when I go and click on this get started, it will go to the screen two. In the screen two, we'll go and enter the data. Now once after entering the data, we'll go and click on submit button. Whenever we go and click on submit button, this complete data will go and submit to what? Data sources. And then once after submitting the data, we discussed about how to navigate the user to which screen? Success screen. Next, once after navigating the user to the success screen, whatever the data will have in the source, we understand how to go and show that data again in the Power Apps. To show that data again in the Power Apps, we are using what? One gallery control. This is the control we used, gallery. In this gallery control, we discussed about how to display the data. So this is what we understand in the previous class, guys. That is in yesterday's class. So now what's our requirement now in today's class? From the Power App, whenever if you go and click on submit button, whatever the data is there in the form, it will submit the data to the data sources. Now, whenever the data comes into the data sources, which student details you entered recently, now by taking that student email ID as a reference, I want to send one email to that student regarding the course, for which course the student is inquired. For that course, I want to go and send one email with the help of Power Automate. I don't want to send an email manually with the help of human skills. Whenever the record is created automatically, I want to take the student email ID and I want to go and send one automated email to that student with the help of Power Automate software recording the course, for which course the student is inquired. So this is what the agenda for today's class. In today's class, we'll understand how to go and send one automated email to the student recording the course for which course the student is inquired with the help of Power Automate software. We'll discuss now in today's class. This is what the agenda. So now, let me go and keep here. In today's class, today is class 3. In today's class, we'll go and discuss about what? Introduction to Power Automate. Let me go and keep here. Today is class 3. Today is class 3. In today's class, we'll discuss about introduction to what? Power Automate. Now, before going to start discussing about what is Power Automate and how to perform the automations with the help of Power Automate software, first try to understand this. With the help of Power Platform, with the help of this complete Power Platform, right now we are trying to implement what? With the help of this Power Platform software, we are trying to implement the 4-step business application process, guys. We are trying to implement this 4-step business application process. So in this 4-step business application process, already we done with how many steps? In yesterday's class, we done with what? In yesterday's class, practically we discussed about how to go and create an app. And also practically we discussed about the data sources. So in this 4-step business application process, already we done with creating the apps. To create apps, we used with software. In yesterday's class, Power Apps. And next one is what? Data sources. Now, what is the data source software we use in yesterday's class? SharePoint. What's the data source software we use in yesterday's class is? SharePoint. And now, the third step, guess. What's the third step? Automation. Now, in today's class, we'll go and discuss how to perform the automations. So in order to go and perform the automations, what's that software we are going to use now? We are going to use the Power Automate. So with the help of Power Automate software, how to go and perform the automations we'll discuss now in today's class, guys. So agenda for today's class is what? Whenever the users will enter the data in the Power Apps. Once after entering the data, if the user click on the submit button, that complete data will comes into where? Data sources. As we know that how to go and store the data in the data sources from Power Apps. Now, whenever the data comes into the data sources, immediately by taking the data as a reference, I need to go and perform some sort of automations. So how to go and perform the automations with the help of Power Automate software? We'll discuss now in today's class. The third step in the business application process is what? Automation. We'll understand about how to perform the automations with the help of Power Automate. Fine. This is what the agenda for today's class, guys. Now, let me keep here what the different points we'll discuss now in today's class. In today's class, first point we'll try to understand what is Power Automate. We'll understand what is Power Automate. And the next point we'll understand what is meant by automation. What is meant by automation. And third point we'll understand who will use them. Who will use the Power Automate software. Who will use the Power Automate software. And also, the next point we'll understand how to perform the automations using Power Automate software. How to perform the automations using Power Automate software. So these are the points we will go and discuss now in today's class. These are the points we'll discuss, guys. Now, among all those, first let me go and discuss who will use the Power Automate software. First, let me go and discuss about what? Who will use the Power Automate? Now try to understand this. Already we know in the previous classes, in the class 1, we discussed about now who will use the Power Automate software. Let's say if there is any company, what the companies will do. As we know that the companies will do some business. Let's take well-known companies for us, guys. If you take, let's take well-known companies for us. Let's take Amazon. Amazon is one company. They're doing what business? E-commerce. Let's take some other company, ICICI. ICICI is one company. They're doing what business? They're doing some banking business. Let's take Swiggy. Swiggy is some other company. They're doing what business? They're doing some food business. So like this, if you take any company, guys, whatever the company it is, what the companies will do? The companies will do some business. Now, if the company is doing some business means, then the companies will have some repeated work process. Then the companies will have what? And the companies will have some repeated work process. So what's meant by repeated work process, guys? Let's take any company, guys. If you take Amazon, ICICI, or Swiggy, every company will have some repeated work process. Let's take Swiggy, as we are discussing about the Swiggy company from last 2 classes, guys. Let's take Swiggy now. Now, as we know that Swiggy company is doing some food business. Now think that on an average, let's take an average of, for one day, how many customers will place the orders in the Swiggy app? Let's take in India, thousands of customers will place the orders, guys. Let's take for one day, 50,000 customers are placing the orders. Let's check how many customers are placing the orders. 50,000 customers are placing the orders, guys. 50,000 customers are placing the orders. Now try to understand, for all the customers, whenever the customer places an order, what the Swiggy company need to do? Swiggy company need to send one confirmation email to that user. Whoever the user is placing the order or customer is placing an order, for that customer, they need to send one email. What is that email? Once the customer places an order, immediately the Swiggy company will send one mail. In that mail, what is the subject? The subject will be, your order is placed successfully. Thanks for placing the order. And in the body of that email, you can see what is the order you placed, what is the amount you need to pay, what is the discount you are getting, and what's the delivery address, to which address the product is, the food item is going to be delivered. So you will receive some mail. The customers will receive some mails. Now, whatever the mails the customers are going to receive, do you think that those mails are sent by the humans means? No. Those mails are not sent by the humans, guys. Whatever the mails we are receiving, once if you place an order in the Swiggy, those mails are not sent by the humans. So first of all, try to understand, it is possible to send the 50,000 mails per day? No, it is not an easy task. It is not easy to do this kind of work with the help of humans manually, guys. Once the customer places an order, understanding which order the customer is placed, who is the customer placing an order, what is the restaurant preparing that food item, what is the delivery address. By understanding all this data, once the customer places an order, sending an email, that to 50,000 mails per one day with the help of humans. No, it is not possible. If you want to do this work with the help of humans, we need to hire a lot of employees. We need to hire manpower. We need to set up some infrastructure. We need to buy some buildings for rental. So to maintain that, to provide some facilities for the employees. So it is cost effective. But also it is difficult work. It is a difficult job to do it. It is not that much easy. And also, not only sending the 50,000 mails per day, when the customers will receive the mail, when the customer will receive an email, once the order is placed, that means once the customer will place an order, immediately within the fraction of seconds, guys, there is no delay. If you observe, if you place an order in the Swiggy, immediately within the fraction of seconds, hardly it will take 5 seconds, guys. So within the fraction of seconds, the customers will receive an email. Now tell me, once the customer places an order in the app, it is possible to send the email to the customer within the fraction of seconds manually with the help of humans? No, it is not possible, guys. So here, once the customer places an order, Swiggy company need to send one email to that customer. And also Swiggy company need to send an email to the restaurant. What the restaurant is preparing that food. They need to get some, they need to give some notification to the restaurant also. So if you want to do this kind of work with the help of humans, it is not possible. So every company will have what, guys? Every company will have some repeated work process. If you want to do this repeated work process with the help of humans, means it is not possible. So in order to go and do this type of repeated work process, nowadays companies are doing what? Companies are preferred to go and perform the work using some automation softwares. They need to do that work automatically with the help of systems. So not only Swiggy, guys, if you take banking, any bank, let's take ICICI, let's take, if you withdraw some amount, you are getting some messages, alert. Who will send that message to you? Manually humans are sending? No, it is an automated message. Let's take, if you deposit some amount, you are getting some message. Those are sent by the humans? No. Or let's take, you will get some invoice every month. Those are sent by the humans? No, it is an automated. Let's take Amazon. In Amazon also, if you place an order, you will get some confirmation mail from the Amazon. Do you think that those are sent by the humans? No. So every company will have some repeated work process. To do this, if you want to do this repeated work process with the help of humans, no, it is not possible. So in order to go and do this work, companies are preferred to go and use what? Companies are doing that work with the help of some automations. They are doing the work automatically with the help of systems. So in order to go and do this repeated work process automatically with the help of systems, we need to have an automation software. So what is that software? Nowadays, the companies are using in order to go and do this repeated work process automatically. The companies are using the Power Automate software. Now, who will use the Power Automate software? We understand if there is any company, if the company is doing some business, then the companies will have what? Repeated work process. So in order to go and do that repeated work process, companies are performing what? Automations. So to perform the automations, the companies are using which software? Power Automate software. We understand who will use the Power Automate software. Who will use the Power Automate software? Companies. Companies will go and use the Power Automate software. So why the companies are using the Power Automate software? Companies are using this Power Automate software to do what? To perform some automations. So what type of work they will go and automate? Repeated work process. With the help of Power Automate software, we are going to automate what? Repeated work process. Where we'll go and automate the repeated work process? Within the business or organizations. Within the business, in order to go and automate the repeated work process, companies are using the Power Automate software. Fine. So now we understand who will use the Power Automate software, guys. And the next point, we need to understand what? How to perform these automations with the help of Power Automate. I need to understand how to perform the automations with the help of what? Power Automate. So now before going to understand how to perform the automations with the help of Power Automate, let me keep some definitions, guys. Let me go and keep the definition of what is Power Automate. First, we need to understand what is Power Automate. And the second point, we need to understand what is meant by automation. Once after understanding these 2 points, and then we'll go and discuss how to perform the automations with the help of Power Automate software. So let me go and keep here. Nowadays, let me keep here one point here. Nowadays, companies are using the Power Automate software. Power Automate software to automate the repeated work process. Fine. Now let me go and keep here the definition of what's the definition of Power Automate. Now try to understand, guys. Already we know that what is Power Automate. In the class 1 we discussed. Let me keep here. Power Automate is an what type of software? Power Automate is an automation software. It is an automation software which is used to automate the repeated work process within the organizations. So already we know that what is Power Automate. Power Automate is an automation software within the Power Platform, which is used to automate what? Which is used to automate the repeated work process within the organizations. This is what the Power Automate definition. Now, what's the definition of automation now? So I said that Power Automate is what software? Automation software. Now, what's meant by automation? Let me keep the definition of automation, guys. Now, as we know that already in the yesterday's class, that is in the previous class, class 1, we discussed, guys. When I'm discussing about this 4-step business application process, here we discussed about automation. I said that automation is nothing but what? Automation is nothing but doing certain repeated work automatically without any human interactions. If you are doing some work automatically without any human interactions, then we'll call it as what? Then we are performing some sort of automation. So as I said that automation is nothing but doing certain repeated work automatically without any human interactions. We'll call it as what? We'll call it as automations. Fine. Okay. Now we understand what's the definition of Power Automate, and also we understand what's meant by automation. Now let me go and discuss how to perform the automations with the help of Power Automate. I need to understand this point now. How to perform the automations with the help of Power Automate software. Now try to understand, guys. Here in the Power Automate, there are different ways you can perform the automations. Let me keep here. How to perform the automations means, first let me keep here the types of automations. There are different types of automations you can perform, different ways to perform the automations. So what are the different ways we'll have to perform the automations? The first one is automated cloud flows. First one is what? Automated cloud flows. Second one is scheduled cloud flows. Third one is what? Instant cloud flows. Third one is what? Instant cloud flows. So these are the 3 types of automations you can perform. Now let me go and discuss one by one, guys. What is meant by automated cloud flows? What's meant by scheduled cloud flows? And what's meant by instant cloud flows? Let me go and discuss when to go and use what. First, let me go and discuss about what? Automated cloud flows. Now try to understand when to go and use this automated cloud flows means. These are used to automate them repeated workflows. These are used to automate the repeated workflows based on the event happened in the data sources. When to go and use this automated cloud flows? First of all, what is the use of this automated cloud flows? These are used for what? Automate the repeated work process. These are used to automate the repeated work process, guys. Now, when these are going to use it to automate the repeated work process? Based on the event happened in the data sources. That means when something is happened in the source, data sources. Data sources means what? Like SharePoint, SQL, Oracle, Dataverse, Excel, all these are the data sources. When something is happened in your data sources, then I need to go and perform some sort of automation skills. So whenever if you want to go and perform some sort of automations based on the event happened in the data sources, then in this case, go and use what? Automated cloud flow. Let me give an example, guys. So in the previous class, that is in yesterday's class, we discussed about creating an app in the Power Apps. So we created one form in the Power Apps. What's that form name? New student inquiry form. We have the different fields there: student name, email, mobile, course, and education. This is the form we created. So now here in this form, they'll enter the data. In this class, we created one form here. In this form, once after entering the data, whatever the data they are entering in this form, they need to submit the data to the source. To submit the data to the data sources, they'll go and click on the button called submit button. So once after entering the data, when they click on submit button, the data comes into where? Data sources. What is the data source we are taking here? SharePoint. What's the data source we are taking here? SharePoint. Now, whenever they click on the submit button, the data comes into data sources. Now, whenever the data comes into the data sources, then immediately, by taking that student email ID as a reference, I need to go and send one email to that student. I want to send one mail regarding the course details. So when I want to send an email to the student here, whenever the record is inserted into the SharePoint list, that means there is something is happening in the source. What is happening in the source? Insert. Whenever the record is inserted, then only I want to go and send an email. Otherwise, I don't want to send the emails. So when something is happening in your source, then if you want to perform some sort of automations, go and use the automated cloud flows. So here I said that event based on the event happened in the source. What's meant by an event now? If you see, I said that whenever the record is inserted into the source, so event is nothing but, let me give a simple example, guys. What's meant by an event is? Event is nothing but inserting the data into the source is one event. If you update the data in the SharePoint list is one event. If you delete the data, it is another event. There are different events we'll have. I'm giving an example, guys. So here, these are the events. Let's take now my requirement is what? Whenever the record is inserted, inserting is one event. So whenever the record is inserted, which student records you inserted, by taking that student email as a reference, I want to go and send one email to that student, guys. So when I want to send an email, whenever the record is inserted, then only go and send an email. So whenever the record is inserted to the SharePoint list, then only if you want to send an email, you need to go and use what type of flow? Automated cloud flows. That's what I'm keeping here, guys. These are used to automate the workflows when based on the event happen in the data sources. When something is happening in your source, then if you want to do some sort of automations, go and use the automatic cloud flows. Next one is scheduled. When to go and use the scheduled flows? Try to understand. These are used to automate them repeated workflows based on the scheduled date and time intervals. Try to understand, guys. When to go and use this schedule flows? First of all, these are also used for what? These are also used to automate the repeated workflows. But based on what? Based on the scheduled date and time. That means whenever if you want to go and do the automation, whenever if you want to automate the work process based on the date and time intervals, then go and use the schedule flows. Let me give an example of schedule flows, guys. Suppose think that, let's say, there is one company, guys. Let's take, we have one company. Let's take Infosys company is there. Any company it is. Let's take Infosys is there. Now, Infosys company, there's thousands of employees are working in the company. Now, what the Infosys wants to do here is, Infosys company, they need to send the birthday wishes to the employees. Simple, they want to send what? Birthday wishes to the employees. So which employee date of birth is matching with today's date? Which employee date of birth is matching with today's date? They need to send the birthday wishes to those employees. So when they want to send the birthday wishes here, based on the date and time. When they want to send the birthday wishes, based on the date and time. Let's take every day. Every day at morning 6 a.m. At what time they want to send the birthday wishes? Every day at morning 6 a.m. So what the company need to do now? They want to send the birthday wishes to the employees. So on every day at 6 a.m. Every day morning 6 a.m. we need to go and check which employee date of birth is matching with today's date. If any one of the employee date of birth is matching with today's date, then I want to send the birthday wishes to those employees. When I want to send the birthday wishes? Every day, from Monday to Sunday. Every day in a week. When I want to send? 6 a.m. So what is the date here? Every day. What's the time? 6 a.m. Every day at 6 a.m. what I want to do? I want to send the birthday wishes to the employees. Those whose date of birth is matching with today's date. So now, in order to go and send the birthday wishes, or let's take if you want to send the birthday wishes manually with the help of humans, guys. First of all, try to understand who will come to the office at 6 a.m. to send the birthday wishes. Anyone will come to the office at 6 a.m. to send the birthday wishes? No. And also, let's take 10,000 employees are working in the company. Now it is possible to understand among all those 10,000 employees, which employee date of birth is matching with today's date? Manually, it is not possible to do this work. So I want to do this work automatically, guys. Automatically, every day at morning 6 a.m., go and check which employee date of birth is matching with today's date, and then send the birthday wishes to those employees at 6 a.m. So whenever if you want to go and perform some sort of automations based on the date and time intervals, then go and use what type of flow? Scheduled flows. Next one is instant flow. Now when to go and use this instant flows, guys? Let me keep here. These are used to automate the repeated workflows manually by tapping a button. Whenever if you want to go on manually by tapping a button. Now try to understand, guys. Now my requirement, I don't want to send an email to the student based on the event happened in the source. I don't want to go and send the emails based on the date and time. I don't want to do the automations based on the source or based on the date and time. So when I want to go and perform the automations now, manually by tapping a button. That means whenever it is required for us, we need to go and click on one button manually. Whenever we click on the buttons manually, then only the work process will start. So if you don't want to automate the work process when something is happening in the source, or if you don't want to automate the work process based on the date and time, if you want to automate the work process manually by tapping a button whenever it is required for us, then go and use what type of flow? Instantly, whenever it is required for you, just click on one button. Automatically, that button will go and start the work process. So this is what the instant cloud flows. These are the three different types of automations you are able to perform. So one is what? Automated. When to go with the automated? When something is happened in the source, based on the event happened in the source. When to go with the scheduled? Based on the date and time intervals. When to go with the instant? Whenever if you want to automate the work process manually by tapping a button. So these are the three different types of automations we are able to perform this. Now, let me go and open the Power Automate. Let me show you how to go and work with the automated flows, scheduled and instant. First, let me go and open the Power Automate now. Now, how to open the Power Automate? How to open the Power Automate software? Now, in order to go and open the Power Automate, there are two ways again. You can open the Power Automate software from the office.com, or if you want to open Power Automate software directly, go and use the URL make.powerautomate.com. Make.powerautomate.com. So either you can use any one of these two cases. Now, let me show you how to go and perform the automations. First, let me go and open the Power Automate from the office.com. Let me go to the office.com now. Go to the office.com. Go to the search bar. In the search bar, just go and search for what? Power Automate. Just go and search for what? Power Automate. You can see what here? Power Automate application. Just go and select it. When I select this, now it will go and open what? Power Automate. It will go and open what now? Power Automate software. So I am opening the Power Automate software, guys. Fine. This is the one way. From the office.com, you can open it. Another way is what? Just close this tab. Close this tab. Go to the new tab. Go to the new tab. Here, let me go with the URL what? make.powerautomate.com. make.powerautomate.com. When I go with this URL, directly it will go and open what? Directly it will go and open the Power Automate software. Fine. If you see it is opening what now? Power Automate. So now this is the UI. This is the UI for Power Automate. And now try to understand this. Once after open the Power Automate software, now let me go and start creating the flows. So if you want to start creating the flows, go to which tab? Create tab. Go to the Create tab. Go to the Create tab. Here you can see the different types of flows you can create. One is what? Automated cloud flows, scheduled cloud flows, and instant cloud flows. These are the three types of flows we are going to discuss. And there is something called describe it to design it. It is using AI, Copilot. It is an AI case. So here you can just keep some text. If you enter some text, based on the text you are entering, automatically the AI will go and create one flow. So, and next one is process mining. Process mining, it is a preview feature. Process mining is used to improve the performance of the flows. It is a preview feature, just now ignore it. And there is something called desktop flows. This desktop flows will come under the RPA, robotic process automation. In the older days, the companies will perform the automations in the desktop. This is the desktop flows. It is outdated, guys. Nowadays, companies are not using this. Most of the companies will go and prefer to go and use this now. So these are the three different types of automations we are going to discuss. So now try to understand what's my requirement here is. First use case. Let me go to the Power Apps. Now try to understand. In the Power Apps, when I go and click on this Get Started, it will go to the screen to where we'll enter the student details. Let's take, I'm going to enter my details, guys. Let's take Winky. I'm entering my email ID. Let me enter some random number. Let me take the course, Power Apps, education background as BTech. Now try to understand. I'm entering some data. Once after entering the data, go and click on what? Submit. When I click on submit button, whatever the data you are entering in this form, this data will go and stored in where? This data will go and store in the data sources. It will go to the source now. So now when I click on the submit button, it will submit the data. Now go to the source case. Just refresh it once. When I click on refresh, now see the record is created. This is the record just now we inserted. These are the student details. This is the student details which inserted just now. Now try to understand. Whenever I insert the data into the SharePoint list, which student details you entered. Now my requirement, whenever the record is created automatically, I want to take the student email as a reference, and I want to send one automated email to that student, automated emails to the student regarding what? Course. For which course the student is inquired. Regarding that course, I want to send one automated email to the student. So when I want to send an email, whenever the record is inserted. So now, if whenever the record is inserted in SharePoint list, I want to send one email to that student. Now tell me what type of flow I need to select here now. Whether we need to go with the automated flows, instant flow, or a scheduled flow. To get that requirement, which flow we need to select now? Yes, all in people?
Automated.
Automated, correct. Now let me go with the automated trigger. So automated flows. Let me go and select this one. Automated cloud flows. So now when I select this, first it is asking us to pass the flow name. What's the name you want to keep the flow? I think already there is some flows exist. Let me go here. Let me go to my flows. Previous flows exist. Let me go and delete them. Let me delete the previous flows, guys. I'll show you how to create them again. Fine. Now go to the create tab. Go and select what? Automated flow. Correct. Now, when I select this automated flow, first is asking us to pass what? Flow name. Let me pass the flow name as automated cloud flow. Whatever the name it is, guys, you can pass your own names. For understanding purpose, I'm keeping the name as what? Automated cloud flows. Once after passing the flow name, next, if you observe here, there is one mandatory step. There is one mandatory step. Choose your flows trigger. What is when this choose your flows trigger? When I forward the mouse here, if you see, it is telling us what? What is meant with trigger now? It is telling us choose the flows trigger. Now, what's meant with trigger? A trigger is an event that starts the flow. What's meant by trigger means? The trigger is an event which is used to start the flow. Now tell me, I'm going to create a flow. This is the flow name. Now, when I want to start the flow, when I want to run this flow, when I want to run this flow, guys, whenever the record is, what's my requirement? What's my requirement now? Whenever the students enters the data here in the SharePoint, once after entering that, click on submit button, the data will comes into the source. Now, whenever the data comes into the source, which student details you inserted, by taking that student email as a reference, I want to send one automated email. So now when I want to send an email, online people.
Insert the
inserted, correct.
Insert.
Whenever the record is inserted. So this is the flow you are creating. When you want to run the flow means, whenever the record is inserted, that is called as a trigger. Trigger is nothing but an event. Trigger is an event that starts the cloud flow. When I want to start this flow, whenever the record is created in the SharePoint list. So now here, there is a trigger called what? When an item is created. Inserted means when an item is created in the SharePoint. Where the item is created? SharePoint. Let me select this trigger. That means I want to run this flow whenever an item is created in the SharePoint. Created means insert. Select this trigger and then click on what? Create. I'll discuss, guys, what's meant by trigger, when to use it, what is the need of using the triggers. You'll understand in the coming classes. There are 3 types of triggers are available. What are the 3 types of triggers we'll have? When to go and use the triggers? In the coming classes, I'll discuss extensively. For now, just try to understand what's meant by trigger. Select this trigger and click on create. When I click on create, now it will allow us to go and create the flow. Now this is the new UI. New UI. So this UI is still in the preview, guys. It is not live. It is a preview feature. So we'll switch back to the old UI. Turn off this new designer. Turn off it. Go back to the old UI. Fine. So what's the first step in the flow is trigger. What's the trigger? When an item is created. Whenever the item is created, then only the flow will start. Now here, where the item is created, in the SharePoint. In the SharePoint, where the item is created, guys, you need to pass the site address and then list name. What is the site we need to connect now? What's that site name? Batch 129, 9 a.m. Let me go and select the site name here. You can see the site name. Just click on this drop down. When I click on this drop down, you can see the site name. What's the site we created? Batch 129, 9 a.m. Just select the site. In this site, when I click on this drop down, it will show that list name. What's that list name? Students. That means in the students list, whenever the item is created, then what's my requirement? I want to send one email. So let me go and add one new step, guys. Let me go and add a step. What step I need to do now? Whenever the record is created, what I want to do? I want to send an email. So let me go and search for send email. Let me go and search for what? Send email. So you can see an action here called send email. I want to use the Outlook here. From the Outlook, I want to send an email. Just go and select this one. Select this action. This is the action I want to take. Whenever the record is created in the SharePoint, what action I want to take? Send an email. So to whom I want to send an email? Let's take, if I hard code my email ID, if I'm hard coding my email ID, so every time whenever the record is created, it will send an email to whom? To myself. So this is not my requirement, guys. To whom I want to send an email? Which student details you entered? To that student, I want to send an email. To that student email ID, I want to send one mail. So don't hard code the value. Don't hard code it. I want to take the student email ID. Which student details you enter? that student email ID I want to take. So how to take that student email ID? Don't hard code the value. I want to make it as dynamic. So there is something called what? Add dynamic content. Go to the add dynamic content. And from here, when an item is created, you can capture what here? Email. This is the column name in the SharePoint. Email, this is the column name in the SharePoint. Let me go and take this column. When I select this column, it is taking the column name email in the SharePoint. That means what is happened now? Which student details you enter, it will take that student email ID in the to address. Now, once after passing the to address, subject is what case? Let me keep the subject as thanks for inquiring AB trainings. Thanks for inquiring AB trainings. Next, body. In the body, I want to keep the message. What's that message? Let's take hi. I want to mention the name of that student here. Let's take if I enter my name, hard-coded value. If I enter my name, then what happens? Every time, whenever it will send an email, it will keep the name as what? Winky. So I don't want to hard-code the value here, guys. What's my requirement? Which student details you are entering? I want to take that student name from here. I want to take the student name dynamically. Which student details you inserted? That student name I want to take. So now again, go to what? Dynamic content. Go to the dynamic content. In the dynamic content, you can see the columns in the SharePoint. Student name column, email, mobile, course, education. Let me go and take which column? Student name column. When I take the student name column, now keep comma. Now what it will do? Which student details you are entering? Which student details you are entering? It will take that student name from here. So it is dynamic. I'm not hard coding the value. Hi, the student name. Let me keep here. We are from analytics benchmark. We are from analytics benchmark. Let me keep the analytics in the bold. Analytics benchmark in the bold. Let me keep some color formatting. We are from analytics benchmark. Let me keep here. Thanks for inquiring Power Apps course. Let's take if I keep here Power Apps. If I hard code the value, in every mail, it will keep the course as what? Power Apps. I don't want to hard code this value again now. So for which course the student is inquired? So Warner is inquiring for which course? Power Apps. Sunil is inquiring for which course? Power BI. Venki is inquiring for which course? SQL. What course which course you are entering here in the SharePoint? That course I want to go and keep it here in the Power Automate. Again, I don't want to hard code the value. I want to make it as dynamic. Which student details you entered, that student course I want to take. Let me go to the Power Automate, go to the dynamic content. Let me take what? Course call. It's the column name in the SharePoint. Let me go and take here course. Take the course value. And next, thanks for inquiring. Let me keep this course in the bold. Thanks for inquiring Power Apps course. We will update you. We will update you when the new batch will start. When the new batch will start. So I'm sending one simple message, guys. You can compose the message, whatever the mail you want to send. So I think whenever if you inquire for Power Apps course, my team will share one mail with you, right? So the same mail you can compose here. So to compose that mail, it will take some lot of time. Just to try to understand how to send an email to the student whenever the record is created. One simple message I'm sending is, hi, student name. We are from Analytics Benchmark. Thanks for inquiring, course name, and we'll update you when the new batch will start. So this is the mail I want to send. So only 2 steps, guys. First one is what? Trigger. When this flow will start? Whenever the item is created in the SharePoint. Whenever the item is created, the flow will start. Now what this flow will do? It will send one email to that student. Now, let me go here. Let me go to the SharePoint. So in the SharePoint, there is some data. Let me go and remove the complete data, guys. We need to have some valid email address here. Let me go and remove the complete data now. So there is no data in the SharePoint. Now let me go to the Power Apps. So from Power Apps, I want to submit the data. Whenever the record is created in the SharePoint list, which student details you are entering, I want to take the student email ID and I want to send one mail. Let me test the flow now. Let me test. First save the flow and then test it. Let me check the flow is working properly or not. Now it is telling us what your flow is ready. We'll recommend you to test it. Now go and test this. For the first time, you need to test the flow manually. From the second time onwards, it will automate. Select manually test the flow, click on test. Now it is telling us what? To see it working now, add a new item into the SharePoint list. So now let me go to the Power Apps. I'm going to enter some data. I'll enter my details, guys. To show the mail, what mail I receive there. I'm entering my email ID. Just enter some random number. Course, let me take the course as SQL Server. Educational background as BTech. Now try to understand what's the name? Venki. This is the email ID. Course is what? SQL. Let me click on submit. If you observe, still the flow is waiting, guys. Still it is waiting for what? Trigger. When this flow will trigger? Whenever the record is inserted. Now when the record will insert, when I click on submit, the data will go to the SharePoint now. So now if you go to the SharePoint, when I click on refresh, now the record is created. Whenever the record is created, now the flow need to start. So the flow will trigger now. Once the record is created, the flow will run. So what's the course I inquired? SQL. What's the name? Venki. If you observe, now see it is giving what? Message. Your flow run successfully. You will get some green color tick mark here. It is done successfully, guys. Now let me go and open my email ID. This is the mail, right? Let me open this email. Let me check I received an email or not. So now let me go and open my email ID. Let me go and open the mail. So if you observe here, what's the mail I'm logging in? Venki Challa 1995, same mail. Now I received an email or not? Yes, just now, 0 minutes ago. What's the subject? Thanks for inquiring AB trainings. What's the body? What's my name? Venki. This is the hardcoded value? No. Power Automate automatically will take it. Hi Venki. We are from Analytics Benchmark. Thanks for inquiring. For which course I inquired there? For which course I inquired, guys? SQL. Automatically is taking the course. Thanks for inquiring what SQL Server course. We'll update you when the new batch will starts. So like this, I'll receive one of which student details you are going to enter into the SharePoint list. Immediately, once the record is inserted, by taking that student email as a reference, it will go and send one email to that student regarding which course the student is inquired. Now, online people, please enter your email address in the chat box. 1 or 2 students. Those who join through laptop only. Don't waste my time and don't waste your time. People, those who join through only laptop, please enter your email address in the chat box. I will enter your details here. Let me check what mails you will receive there. Please enter your email address. People, those who joined only through laptop. Avinash, enough. Let me enter Avinash details. Enough, guys, enough. Don't disturb the class in the middle. Someone is using the animations. Why? I don't know why you people are disturbing the class in the middle. Please don't disturb the class. Now let me go and enter the data, guys. Let me go and enter that email ID, Avinash. Mobile number, just some random number. Let me take the course as Power Apps. Let me keep the education written as BTech. Now click on submit. Now it is submitting the data. Now let me go to the SharePoint. Now if you see here, Avinash details is submitted. So Avinash, please check your mail. Let me know whether you received an email or not. Please check your mail.
Yeah, sure. I'm checking right now.
Okay. Satish, I'll enter Satish details. I'll enter 1 or 2 student details, guys, just for understanding purpose to show you how the flow is working. Let me take the course as SharePoint. Satish, please check your mail. Let me know whether you received an email or not. Yes, Satish details is also inserted. Let
Yeah,
me
Avinash,
enter another. You
I
received
received.
it?
Yes.
Fine. I'll give the access to you. Please share your screen so that the remaining people can understand what mail you received there. Meanwhile, let me enter another one more. Victor. Just I'm entering some random data, guys. Only the mails are correct, proper mails I'm entering. Vikram, please check your email ID. Uh, Let me know whether you people received the mails or not. Avinash, I'll give the access to you. Avinash only, right? You received the mail?
Yeah, yes, I received email. Yes.
I'm giving the access to you to share your screen. So you can share your
Okay.
screen now.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen.
Just 1 second. Yes, Avinash, please share your screen. Fine, Satish. Thank you. Thank you, Vikram. Avinash, are you sharing the screen? Are you able to
Yeah.
share it?
Yes. Yeah, right now I'm sharing my screen. I hope it is visible.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. We are able to share it. Now you can see, guys, the same mail. So what's the subject it is? Thanks for inquiring AB trainings. What's the name we entered there? Avinash. Thanks. Hi, Avinash. We are from Analytics Benchmark. Thanks for in which course? Avinash is inquiring for which course? Power Apps course. So like this, remaining students also. Satish get the mail. Vikram will also get the mail. So you can stop sharing it. You can stop sharing now. So like this, which student details you are entering? Which student details you are entering? You can view. You can see uh, that student details, automatically the Power Apps, Power Automate will go and send one email to that student. Which student details you are entering? Whenever the record is inserted, automatically the flow will start. It will take that student email ID. It will send one automate email to that student regarding the course, which course is inquired, and it is taking the student name also. So this is what how to send an email to the student automatically whenever the record is inserted into the SharePoint list. That means when something is happening in the source, we are doing some sort of automations. So we are taking what type of flow here? We are taking the automated cloud flow. Fine. Okay. And next, my requirement here, try to understand, guys. Now, what's my requirement here is, I don't want to send an email to the student whenever the record is inserted. Try to understand. Second use case is what? I don't want to send the mails to the student whenever the record is inserted. I want to send an email to all the students at a time. So whoever the student sees there in the SharePoint list, for all the students, I want to send an email every day at 9 p.m. Every day at 9 p.m. Let's take I'm going to close the office by 9 p.m. So every day at 9 p.m., whoever the student sees there in the SharePoint list, for all those students, I want to send an email regarding the course. For all the students, I want to send the emails regarding which course they inquired. So my requirement, when I want to send an email every day, except Sunday, guys, except Sunday, Monday to Saturday, every day at 9 p.m. before going to close the office, whoever the student sees there in the SharePoint list, for all the students, I want to send an email regarding the course they inquired. So I don't want to send an email now whenever the record is created. By the end of the day, which students are inquired on that particular day, I want to send an email to them. So how to do it? So if you want to go and do this type of automation, then what type of flow you need to select here now? Go to the Power Automate, go to the Create tab. Now, which flow you need to select? When I want to send an email,
Scheduled one.
9 p.m.
Schedule flow.
Scheduled one, correct. Go with the scheduled flows because Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday, every day at 9 p.m. I want to send. So based on the date and time. If you want to do some work automatically with the based on the date and time, go with the scheduled flows. Let me select this. Pass the flow name as what? Scheduled cloud flow. Scheduled cloud flows. So once after passing the flow name, now run this flow. This is a trigger. Run this flow. When? When you want to run the flow, you need to pass here the date and time intervals, guys. When you want to run, at what's the date and time? So now try to understand. First, you need to pass the starting date. That means from which date you want to start the flow. You want to start the flow from today, tomorrow, or day after tomorrow, or in the next month. You can select, guys, from which date you want to start the flow. Let's take, I want to start the flow from today itself. Let me select today's date. Or you can select the tomorrow. You can select the tomorrow's date. Any date, from which date you want to start it. Let's take, I want to start the flow from today. From today, at what time you want to start the flow? I want to run the flow at evening, 9 p.m. I want to run this flow at what time? 9 p.m. Evening 9 p.m. And how many times you want to repeat the flow? Only one time. You want to repeat the flow monthly once, weekly once, daily once, hourly, minutes, or seconds. I want to repeat the flow. Either you want to repeat the flow monthly once, weekly once, hourly once, daily once. Based on what? I want to repeat the flow weekly, guys. Weekly. In a week, except Sunday. This is Sunday. Except Sunday, uncheck Sunday. Except Sunday, from Monday to Saturday, in a week, Monday to Saturday, 9 p.m., I want to run this flow. So it is telling this flow will run when? On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every week. In every week, Monday to Saturday, 9 p.m., the flow will start. Now click on create. Once after passing the starting date, time, and interval, click on create. When I click on create, now it will allow us to go and create the flow. Let me switch back to the old designer. So in the here, trigger, what's the trigger? Date and time. Recurrence means date and time. If you can see, it is telling that runs on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every week. It is telling that when this flow will run. If you click on edit, now you can do the changes. Already we know interval once, weekly once. If you want to do any changes, you can change it from here also, guys. Or if you go to the advanced options, you can set the time zones or start time on this day, start hour, minute. Already we mentioned all this. So if you want to do any changes, you can do the changes from here. So we'll discuss how to do the changes in the coming classes, guys. So now every day at 9 p.m., what the flow need to do? Every day at 9 p.m., what I want to do? I want to send an email to all the students, whoever there is in the SharePoint list. So go and do what? Send an email. Go on, what action I want to take? Send mail. Let me go and take an action, send email. Now, to address, to whom I want to send? Whoever the student is there in the SharePoint list for all the students. And now if you observe, when I go to the Power Automate, when I go to the dynamic content, I'm not able to see that values. Email column. For now, today, you have 4 student details. You can hard code them. If you hard code, every day it will send the email to those 4 students only. But tomorrow, there are few more students will inquire tomorrow. New students data will enter. So it is not recommended to hard code the email. It is here, guys. What I need to do? Whoever the student is there in the SharePoint list, for all the students, I want to send an email. So when I go to the Power Automate, when I go to the dynamic content, I'm not able to see that data. So before going to send an email, every day at 9 p.m., what I need to do? Every day at 9 p.m., first of all, whatever the data is there in the SharePoint list, bring that data into Power Automate. Why? Because to whom I want to send an email? To the students, whoever there is in the SharePoint list. So first of all, we need to have the access to this data. So if you want to send an email to the students, whoever there is in the SharePoint list, you need to bring this data to Power Automate first. Now, how to bring the data into Power Automate, which is there in the SharePoint? Go and click on add one new step here, guys. Every day at 9 p.m., first go to the source. Now go and add an action, get items. There is an action called what? Get items. From where I want to get the items? From the SharePoint. Select this action. Every day at 9 p.m., first get the data from the SharePoint. So what is the site? From which site you want to get the data? Batch 129, 9 a.m. This is the site. What is the list? From which list you want to bring the data? Students list. Just pass the site name and then list name. So every day at 9 p.m., go to the SharePoint, get the data from the SharePoint list called students. Once after getting the data, now go and send an email. Now go to the to address, go to the dynamic content. Now you can see that column name. Now we are bringing the data into, we are accessing that data which is there in the SharePoint from Power Automate. go and take the email. When I take the email, now it is adding one step called apply to each. Apply to each, why it is adding automatically? Because I want to send the same email. Mail is same, but I want to send it to different students, correct? Yes, so it is adding one step by default, apply to each. So once after passing the email, next two address is what? Sorry, subject is what? Same subject, just copy it, guys. Copy and then paste it. Subject will be same. Next body also will be same message. There is no change in the mail. But when I want to send every day at 9 p.m., copy and paste. When we copy and paste the subject body here, dynamic content doesn't work. So again, go to the dynamic content, take the student name, keep the student name in the bold. Let me select the analytics benchmark, keep it in the bold. Let me remove the course hard-coded value. Go to the dynamic content, take the course value, and then keep it in the bold. Let me select this in the bold, keep it. Same mail, there is no change. Previously, we are sending an email whenever the record is created. But now, I want to send an email to all the students, whoever there is in the SharePoint list, every day at 9 p.m. So now go and test the flow. Save it first. Save the flow. It is done. It is ready. Your flow is ready. Now test the flow. For the first time, you need to test it manually, guys. Test the flow. Click on run the flow. Click on done. Now what this flow will do? Now this flow is running. It is getting the data. And now see, it is sending the mails. Apply to each, one after the other. It will take the student details, one after the other, and then send an email. So now the flow runs successfully. Now you people, online people, Avinash, Satish, Vikram, please check your mails. Again, you receive another one more mail. Let me open my email ID, guys. Let me show you, I received an email or not. Yes, I received just now, 0 minutes ago. Same mail. There is no change in the email. So hi, Venki, we are from Analytics Benchmark. What course I am inquiring here? What's my course? SQL. Automatically is taking this. So thanks for inquiring. SQL Server course will update you when the new batches will start. Yes, received. Fine. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So now, previously, what we are doing, whenever the record is created, the mail is sent. But what we are doing now here, we are sending an email for the students, whoever there is in the SharePoint list, at what time? 9 p.m. On which days? Monday to Saturday. Fine. This is what the second use case. Third one is what? Third one is what? Instant flows. Now, what's my requirement here is, I don't want to send an email to the students whenever the record is created in the SharePoint list. I don't want to send an email to the students based on the date and time. When I want to send an email to the students means, whenever it is required for me, then I need to go and click on one button manually. When I click on the button manually, then only the flow need to start. So now I don't want to go and send the emails whenever the record is created. I don't want to send the emails based on the date and time. When I want to send an email, whenever it is required for me, I need to go and click on one button manually. Whenever I click on the button, then it need to go and start the flow. So in this case, we'll go and use what type of flow? Instant flows. So now, email is same. There is no change in the message. But when you are going to send an email now, manually by tapping a button whenever it is required for us. So now let me go and create a flow case. Now let me go to the create tab. Now what type of flow I need to select? Instant flow. You can see hand raise will be there, button press. You can see schedule flows, alarm, automated flows. When something is happening in the source, data source, then I need to go and create some type of automations. So let me select the instant flow now. Select the instant flow. Let me pass the flow name as instant cloud flows. Now, when I want to run this flow, manually trigger the flow manually by clicking on a button, flow button for mobile. Let me select this. Manually run the flow by clicking on one button. Click on create. Switch back to the old designer. So it is telling us what? When this flow will start? This is the trigger, guys. When this flow will start? Manually, button press. So whenever I click on the button manually, what it need to do? It need to send an email to all the students, whoever there is in the SharePoint list. So now if you want to send an email, go and add an action called what? Send an email. Let me take the action send email. Now to address to whom I want to send the email, whoever the student is there in the SharePoint list. Now, if you go to the, if don't hard code the values case, go to the dynamic content. You are not able to see the data column name in the SharePoint list. Why? So now I want to send an email to all the students case. To send an email, what we, before sending an email, what steps we need to add?
We will add
Yes,
get
data.
item,
Get
get
data.
item,
Get data.
get data.
Correct, get data. So first of all, we need to take the access. We need to access the data which is there in the SharePoint. So how we'll get the data means go and add one new step here, guys. Get items. Correct. Get items. Get the items from the SharePoint. Now first pass the site address. What's the site? Batch 129, 9 a.m. What's the list name? Students is the list name. So get the items on this SharePoint list. Once after getting, now go and send an email. Same mail, nothing will changes. Email ID. Next subject is what? First copy and paste the body. Let me remove the dynamic content. When I copy and paste, dynamic content doesn't work. Let me take the dynamic content again. Take the student name. Let me remove the hardware values course. And then let me go to the dynamic content, take the course. Keep the course in the bold. Let me take the bit warnings, also keep it in the bold. Fine. So this is the same email I want to send, guys. There is no change in the mail. But when I'm going to send an email now, manually, whenever it is required for us, whenever I go and click on the button manually, then only the flow will start. So when the flow will starts now, manually by tapping a button. Manually by tapping a button. Now go and run the flow. Save the flow first. Save the flow first. When you click on save, it will check the flow is having any errors. So if there is no any errors, then it will give the message as your flow is ready. It is taking some time. It is telling that your flow is ready to go. Let me test it. As it is what type of flow? Instant flow. Every time we need to run this flow manually, guys. Just click on test. Now what this flow will do? This flow, first it will go and get the items from the SharePoint, and then it will send an email to the students, whoever there is in the SharePoint list. Your flow runs successfully. It is getting the data from the SharePoint. Once after getting the data, it is going to send an email to the student. So you can see here, how many students? 4 students, once after another. First student, click on next, second student, third, fourth student. Like this, it will send an email. So now if I go and check my email ID, again, I need to receive another one more mail. Yes, I received it just now. So same mail, there is no change in the context of the mail, guys. There is no change in the context of the mail. But when you want to send an email to the students, you want to send an email to the students whenever the record is created in the SharePoint list means, go with what type of flow? Automated. If you want to send an email to the students based on the scheduled date and time, based on the date and time, go and use the instant flows. Or if you want to send an email to the students manually by clicking on a button whenever it is required for you, go and set what? Instant close. So these are the 3 different types of flows we are able to go and create in the work. These are the 3 different ways you can go and start creating the flows. So it depends, guys. Which one will commonly use means it depends. We'll use all these 3 in the real-time scenarios. So there are use cases where we'll go and use all these 3. So there are some cases where we need to go and automate the work process when something is happened in the source. There are some cases where you need to automate the work process based on the date and time. There are some cases where you need to automate the work process manually by tapping a button. So we'll use all these 3. So these are the 3 different ways. These are the 3 different ways to go and perform the automations in Power Automate. One is automated flows, scheduled cloud flows, instant cloud flows. Fine. So this is all about introduction to Power Automate, guys. So in today's class, we understand what? So in today's class, we understand how to go and perform the automations with the help of Power Automate software. So still now we done with how many steps? We done with front-end application, creating an app. We done with data sources. We done with what? Automations. So there is another one more step. The last step is what? Data analysis. So how to go and perform the data analysis? That is, data analysis is nothing but what? Showing the business data in the form of what? Visuals or reports. How to show that data in the form of visuals or reports? Once after showing that data in the form of visuals or reports, how the companies will analyze that data, we'll discuss the next class. So there is another one more class is pending, the 4th class, introduction to Power BI. So we'll discuss this in the introduction to Power BI in the next class tomorrow, guys. So tomorrow you have the class this Saturday, as we need to complete the introduction classes by this week. From Monday, we'll start our actual curriculum. So tomorrow we'll discuss about introduction to what? Power BI. So how to perform the data analysis, you'll understand. Fine. We'll stop here today. We'll discuss from in the next class tomorrow. So please make a note of this point, guys. Please make a note of it. So as I said that you are allowed to attend the 3 free classes. As we completed the 3 free classes. So people, those who want to continue in this batch, continue for this batch, please contact to the front office team and enroll for this batch, guys. So people, those who got registered with us, who got enrolled, I'll share one mail with you. In that mail, you will get all the 3 classes recordings, whatever the 3 classes we discussed till now. I'll share all the 3 classes. You will get the mails. For all the students, I'll share this mail. For all the students, I'll share one mail with you. 3 class recordings you will get, and also the class notes you will get. 3 classes recordings and also the what? Class notes. This is what you will get, guys. And for the registered students, people, those who got registered with us, for enrolled students, I'll share the another one more mail with you regarding the credentials. So in order to do practice, I'll share some credentials with you. I'll share the credentials like username and password, guys. I'll share the credentials with you like username and then password. So with the help of this usernames and passwords, whatever I'm going to share, credentials, you can go and log into the office.com. You can go and log into what? Office.com, and you can start practicing the Power Apps and Power Automate. Fine. We'll stop here today. We'll discuss from here next class tomorrow. Tomorrow's class will understand about what? The 4th introduction class. That is introduction to Power BI. We'll discuss. Fine. Let me stop here now. Now let's go with the questions, guys. Online people, now if you have any questions, now first raise your hands. I'll talk